The clock screamed 8:15 a.m., a glaring red beacon against the pre-dawn gloom. My stomach churned, not just from the hastily gulped coffee, but from the knot of dread tightening in my gut. Today was the day. The day I was supposed to impress a potential business partner, Mr. Tanaka, at my home office. Mr. Tanaka was a titan in the tech industry, and landing this deal meant everything to my fledgling startup. Months of work had culminated in this one meeting, and I'd meticulously planned every detail, from the presentation slides to the gourmet coffee spread. But fate, it seemed, had a wicked sense of humor. Just as I was about to finalize the guest room for Mr. Tanaka's comfort, a frantic text message popped up on my phone. It was Agnes, my ever-reliable maid. Emergency. Won't be able to make it today. So sorry. My carefully constructed world tilted on its axis. Agnes was more than just a maid. She was a magician who kept my life, and especially my home office, in a state of perpetual order. The pristine presentation I'd envisioned crumbled before my eyes. Dust bunnies would waltz across the floorboards, and the faint scent of last week's takeout might even linger. Panic clawed at my throat. I envisioned Mr. Tanaka's scrunched nose, his disapproval a death knell for the deal. But then, amidst the rising tide of despair, a thought, as ridiculous as it was audacious, surfaced. I darted towards our bedroom, a mischievous glint igniting in my eyes. There, amidst the disarray of a hastily thrown-together wardrobe, stood my ever-patient husband, Mark. He blinked at me through sleep-tousled hair, a question mark etched on his face. "Morning, honey," I chirped, a manic edge to my voice. "We have a situation." Mark, bless his soul, was used to my occasional bursts of entrepreneurial insanity. But the look on his face when I blurted out my harebrained plan must have been priceless. "You want me to? What?" His voice cracked with disbelief. "Dress up as a maid," I announced, already rummaging through our closet. Agnes didn't make it, and the house is a disaster zone. Mr. Tanaka wouldn't understand the maid situation, but a clean and tidy house? Now that speaks volumes. Mark, to his credit, didn't laugh much. He simply stared at me, processing the sheer absurdity of it all. But as the urgency in my voice registered, his brow furrowed in concern. "All right," he sighed, a hint of resignation lacing his tone. "But this better be one heck of a deal." The next hour was a whirlwind of activity. Armed with a vintage maid outfit I'd unearthed from a dusty corner of my attic, a relic of a particularly flamboyant college play, we embarked on a frantic transformation. The starched white dress, a tad too big on Mark's broad frame, accentuated his height comically. We wrestled with a frilly apron, a monstrosity adorned with enough lace to rival a Victorian wedding gown. Hair was a challenge. Mark, with his usual tousled locks, offered limited styling options. A bandana, hastily tied into a semblance of a maid cap, completed the look. He peered at his reflection in the mirror, a mix of apprehension and amusement playing across his features. "Do I look convincing?" he asked, his voice laced with a hint of self-consciousness. I surveyed him, trying to stifle a giggle. "Convincing enough to fool someone who's expecting a clean house. Not a fashion show," I replied, unable to resist a playful wink. The doorbell rang, shattering the pre-meeting tension. Mr. Tanaka, a man of impeccable taste, arrived on time, his face etched with the seriousness befitting a titan of industry. Introducing Mark as Clara, my new maid, felt like a scene straight out of a sitcom. Mark, bless his soul, managed a small curtsy, narrowly avoiding toppling over in the process. Mr. Tanaka, ever the gentleman, simply gave a polite nod. The initial awkwardness subsided quickly as we dove into the presentation. My anxieties about the house, however, lingered. Every time Mr. Tanaka shifted in his seat, I braced myself for a grimace at a speck of dust I might have missed. Every cough sent shivers down my spine, fearing it might be triggered by some lingering kitchen odor. But the meeting progressed smoothly. Mr. Tanaka seemed genuinely impressed with the presentation, his questions sharp and insightful. Meanwhile, Mark, in his makeshift maid persona, proved surprisingly adept at silent service. He glided around the room, refilling coffee cups with an almost theatrical flourish that, thankfully, escaped Mr. Tanaka's notice. There was a moment of near disaster when a particularly forceful gesture sent a sugar shaker toppling. Mark, with lightning reflexes, caught it mid-air, earning a raised eyebrow from Mr. Tanaka, which I swiftly explained away as Clara's dedication to keeping things tidy. As the meeting neared its conclusion, the tension in my shoulders finally began to ease. Mr. Tanaka expressed his satisfaction with the proposal, and a sense of exhilaration bubbled within me. We were on the verge of closing the deal. After Mr. Tanaka departed, leaving behind the sweet scent of success and freshly brewed coffee, I turned to Mark, a wave of relief and gratitude washing over me. "You were amazing," I exclaimed, pulling him into a tight hug. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Mark, however, seemed lost in thought. He peeled off the frilly apron with a sigh, the bandana revealing a mess of tousled hair. "That was interesting," he finally said, a hesitant smile tugging at the corners of his lips. "Interesting?" I echoed, eyebrows raised. "I thought you'd be mortified." He shook his head. "There was definitely some mortification involved," he admitted with a chuckle. "But also, something else. A kind of hidden thrill, maybe?" My jaw dropped. Was Mark, my ever-practical husband, experiencing a newfound sense of empowerment? He continued, a thoughtful expression on his face. There was a certain satisfaction in being so invisible, yet completely in control. Like a silent guardian of the deal. He paused, a playful glint returning to his eyes. Maybe there's a future for Clara, after all. The idea of Mark, the ever-so-slightly neurotic accountant, moonlighting as a cross-dressing maid was ludicrous, yet strangely appealing. We both burst out laughing, the tension of the day dissolving entirely. The deal with Mr. Tanaka went through, solidifying my company's future. But the experience had a more unexpected consequence. Mark, ever the supportive husband, started researching online communities dedicated to the art of male cross-dressing. He never donned the Clara persona again, at least not for business purposes. But every now and then, during a particularly stressful work week, I'd find him rummaging through the attic, a mischievous smile playing on his lips. And let's just say, our home has never been cleaner. The day I turned my husband into a maid may have started out in desperation, but it ended up bringing a surprising twist of delight into our lives. It was a reminder that sometimes, the most unexpected solutions can lead to the most unexpected happiness. Finally, we would like to express our gratitude for watching till the end. We hope you found the video valuable and informative. If so, please show your appreciation by hitting the like button and leaving us a comment below. We are eager to hear from you. In the end, we have a humble request for you. We are trying hard to keep you enlightened and empowered by creating awesome videos like this. Please support us by joining our membership program. The link is in the description. Your little contribution will inspire us to make more awesome content for you like this. The next video will be published tomorrow, so don't miss it. Till then, take care. More wisdom, more solutions, better life.